First, it was a deal with Mexico, then eventually another with Canada, avoiding new tariffs for now. Today, President Trump announced a 30-day pause on the 25% tariffs set to be imposed on most Mexican and Canadian products coming into the U.S. They were supposed to go into effect at midnight. Mexico and Canada threatened to retaliate, raising the fear of a regional trade war with far-reaching impacts on everyday people and businesses. Now, nations have at least a month to work out a deal, and there are some rules.
It centers around border protection. According to the deal, Mexico will position 10,000 of its troops at the U.S.-Mexico border as part of an immigration and drug smuggling crackdown. The U.S. will respond with efforts to prevent high-powered weapons from being trafficked into Mexico. As for Canada, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau posted on social media saying the pause came after he and Trump had a phone call. Trudeau says his country agreed to invest more in border security and create a task force to target crime and drug trafficking. Now, the Trump administration did claim all along its tariffs are intended in part to curb illegal immigration and the flow of illegal drugs, especially fentanyl.
New tonight, our Matt Whitkos has been looking into how the deadly opiate and other drugs make their way from our neighbors into our own backyard. Matt.
Yes, Josh and Samantha, the DEA office tells us that the drugs have several routes to get into our area, both starting from our northern and southern borders. A DEA agent explains traffickers are finding innovative ways to bring drugs into our state.
Of course, we've got the main arteries all through the country. That makes it pretty easy once it's on this side of the border.
More than 1,000 miles from Mexico, Michigan still sees the impact of drugs crossing the border, but not to the extent of our neighbors to the south.
We're not seeing the violence that they see down there, the arrests, the big massive seizures that you would sometimes equivalent to some of the southern cities down there.
Our Canadian neighbors, though, much closer, a few hundred miles.
The Canadians are starting to see some problems with both Mexican and Asian precursors coming on over into their country and then funneling its way down into America as well.
Derek Ress is with the DEA's office here in West Michigan. He explains drug traffickers are using other methods than the typical interstate roads to get drugs into our area.
We've seen a lot of stuff through the mail, through FedEx, UPS, Postal even.
The airport, another way.
We recently saw out of one of our airports here in Michigan over 300,000 fentanyl pills coming in on 4 suitcases. So that's also been a popular method.
The Kent County Sheriff's Office explains they're seeing an increase in drug activity here. The Sheriff's Office explains its detectives are seeing a rise in meth, cocaine, and fentanyl cases. They add the number of gun seizures related to drug investigations has doubled. The number of search warrants tied to drug activity has increased.
One thing we've noticed in this area is that the prices of cocaine, of fentanyl, of methamphetamine have gone up a bit since the new administration has come in.
The reason
usually equivalates to it being harder to come across the border, or the cartels anticipating it becoming a little bit more difficult to get their drug shipments across.
What we know about the recent deal to ward off tariffs is more border security from our neighboring countries. Ress adds they're going to keep a watchful eye and get drugs off the streets.
We're always trying to adapt to the times. The cartels are always trying to get innovative in their ways to get the drugs across. And we'll continue to fight that and monitor that.
The Kent County Sheriff's Office explains a primary source of overdose deaths were from fentanyl, cocaine, and meth. They add a large decrease in heroin deaths. They credit that to the availability of Narcan. Reporting in studio, I'm Matt Whitkos, Fox 17 News.